You might not get that side gig this weekend. It might not show up. It's okay. Man, I'm going to keep, I like the hustle. I like to feel, dude, you're broke.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So for me, one thing that helped me get out of it is just having a goal. Like I set a goal. I said, man, by the time I'm 50, I want to be a millionaire.
Come on, man.
Well, what do I got to do
to get there?
Okay. All right. So I got to save money. I got to invest money. How much money do I need to save? How much money do I need to invest? And it's, well, how can I make this happen faster? Because I can now see it. I actually have a plan that is realistic.
I am a man of honor, integrity, and promise. I pursue all righteousness. I love my family. I will not put my family in harm's way. There is nothing that will keep me from doing the right thing. I am an ambassador of hope and a man of discipline. I am a man worth following. I am a TYRO.
Man, this is exciting to have you with us today, Shawn. You know, we got a brand new setup. We got a brand new studio. And you're our first guest here. And I say Cathy and I usually do this together, but I'm here with you. It's just you and me. So we're going to have a conversation. You know, what's it like being Shawn Belletti, right?
Yeah. What's it like being Shawn Belletti?
You know? And so I want to start off with just really thank you for being with us today. I know your schedule is really busy. And I want to talk about what it is you do and why you do what you do. And I want to share with the audience, this is going to be going across multimedia streams, and I'm excited to just let the world see who you are and who we are in relationship. And I'm excited that you are my first guest on this new studio setup, and let's do this.
Yeah, sure. So what I do now is it's a newer role, I guess, basically Deputy Director of Operations here at the Ridge Project. And I do a lot here, a lot of different things. Also, one of my favorite parts is I get to work with youth. So I get to go into a couple different facilities, work with youth there, teach our TYRO leadership for youth, our TYRO youth in those facilities.
So how many hats do you think you're wearing right now in life in general? It sounds like you're doing a lot more than just, okay, you're Deputy of Operations now, Deputy Director, right? And so then you're also a facilitator. You work in the youth department.
Yes.
Well, that's here at work. Well, what about life? What are you, husband? Tell us about that.
Yeah, sure. In life, I'm a father. So me and my wife, we have 6 children from ages 1 to 21.
Nice.
So kind of a good spread there. Also, am an elder at my church. I have I'm a husband, which is important. Father, husband. I'm a Christian, follower of Jesus Christ, and I am a deputy director here. But it's a lot of hats, right? As a father, you wear many hats. Your role and a husband, your role is to be a leader in every single thing that you do.
You know, the success you carry now with you didn't come without a price, right?
It's true.
You know, so let's talk about that. How did you didn't wake up one day and put on that suit jacket and say, this is my life. It took some preparation. It took some hard knocks, right? Can you tell us a little bit about your journey through life and how it led you up to where you and I became friends?
Sure. So I guess I could start, like over 20 years ago as just being a teenager, just trying to figure things out. My parents were divorced. My dad was involved in my life, but he lived a state away. So I think that led me to a little bit less discipline than I should have had as a teenager, which then just led to me getting into drugs, alcohol, a pretty decent meth addiction, where I also was selling meth.
So let me stop you right there. So wait a minute. So that's the first time I ever heard that. A decent. So I don't know what is so let's, if we're going to categorize, is there a level of addiction to, in this case it's meth, but even if it's alcohol, you mentioned you would drink it. So from an alcoholic's perspective, I don't know if they would ever say I was a decent alcoholic.
Right.
You know, I had an addiction, but I mean that's a good way of phrasing it. So you were addicted to meth.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yep. And And other things were just kind of like sidebars. That was kind of the main thing. And it was a stepping process. Like, I didn't start there. I started with alcohol. I started with cigarettes, alcohol, then marijuana, then cocaine. And like each step wasn't that big.
So your father wasn't in your life like he maybe should have been to help navigate your own coming into adulthood. Is that what you were saying earlier?
Yeah, so I think he was there to the best of his ability.
Okay.
He lived in Michigan. I lived in Ohio. He certainly was involved. My parents, even though they were divorced from when I was 7, they co-parented well. I never heard them say anything bad about each other. If my mom called my father because I wasn't acting right, I knew that he would show up. So he was involved as far as that go. He was involved really well for being separated from us.
Okay.
Thing is, having a father in the home is not the same as having a father who can do discipline, but he's not there to actually see everything.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think it was a failure necessarily on his part. It was just, if you're not there, how do you do it?
Yeah. So the circumstances led you into having to make those decisions growing up as a young teenager without having your dad there to turn to all the time, every day. When you were faced with decisions, you were basically making them on your own. And unfortunately, you were on the wrong path.
Yeah, for sure. On the wrong path.
Yeah.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
So how did you? So what happened after you became an adult? Then were you still walking into that lifestyle of a drug addiction, selling drugs? Is that what you said?
Yeah. So the drug selling was mostly just to have a little bit of extra cash in my pocket, and I could get drugs for free, essentially. I could buy and then sell and make my money back and have just a little bit of extra cash in my pocket is what I was looking for. The thing that got me out of it, honestly, was what some people would say is maybe not the best situation, but for me, it was probably the greatest blessing that ever happened to me, because I got given this super clear vision of where my life was headed. At the time, I'm living this lifestyle that is not great. So along with that is sex out of wedlock. So I'm having sex with my girlfriend at the time, had sex plenty of other times before. Oftentimes unprotected sex. She ends up getting pregnant. And I remember the moment that she told me she was pregnant, I got this super clear vision. The only way I can describe it is, now looking back, it had to have come from God. This clear as could day vision of, if I don't change right now, I will be dead or in prison, and I will have a fatherless child. And I say it's an absolute blessing because I don't think everybody gets that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I got it. It did help me. Now, it didn't make me perfect, but it did at least
Right.
get me away from some of the bad habits that I had formed.
Mhm. And one of them was meth.
Yes. Yep.
And so you were seeing that what you had experienced as dad not being home all the time, you didn't want that for this child.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it woke you up to the reality of, you know what, I want to be there for this baby. And so what happened after that? After you had that wake-up call, how soon after did you really find freedom, or how did that happen? How were you released from that addiction?
Yeah. So it was pretty much immediate. I mean, you know, my father was there as much as he could be.
Yeah, right.
But I know that there's such a huge impact that even my father has had on my life in positive directions. And I've had so many good male role models in my life, uncles, grandfathers, all of them leaders wherever they are, all of them very well respected. I knew how important it was for a child to have somebody who's a leader in their life to look up to and to lead them by example. Now, it was pretty much immediate for me. I knew that where my life was going to go if I didn't make the change. That day until this day, pretty much, I stopped talking to everyone I hung out with.
Wow.
I decided that everyone I hung out with, I could not be around, or I knew what would happen.
And that takes a sense of courage, even on your part, to tell those who you've been, you know, spending such amount of time with, a lot of time with, to tell them all of a sudden, hey, I'm cutting the umbilical cord off. We can't be friends. I'm going another path, and you're not part of this journey. How did that transpire? How did you tell these your friends at that time, hey, we can't hang out no more?
Yeah. I mean, really, I had only one person that I would call a good friend. The rest were more like acquaintances.
Okay.
Right. We had a couple of things in common, and it's mostly just drugs.
Yeah,
So,
just drugs.
yeah.
That's what brought you together to the table.
That's what brought us together. The one friend, he ended up moving shortly after, so that one wasn't too difficult. So I just kind of cut everybody off and I knew.
So it worked out like it was just falling into place.
Yeah, like I feel like God had a plan for it.
Yeah.
He gave me that vision for a reason, as a way to say, make the change, or here's where you're headed.
Okay, awesome. So then what? So let's just go a little bit. Let's go and fast forward a little bit more. After your was that a son, daughter?
Daughter.
Your daughter was born. What happened then? So you got a job? What was your first job then?
Yeah, so I just started in a factory, just like a general laborer in a factory. I was still in high school, just struggling, but working full time in high school, sleeping when I could. That was kind of
So you were in high school when you had your first child?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was a senior in high school when my first child was born, and kind of made it through that. That was a tough time. And I would say that I worked hard. I had some ambitions, but I didn't really have a direction for my life. I don't feel like I had a great motivation for my life for at least several years. Me and her mother didn't work out. We were young, too young. And we ended up splitting up when she was about 2.
Okay.
So kept a good relationship between us.
Yeah.
Co-parented well together.
So how old your daughter now?
She now is 21.
21. Wow.
Yeah. And beat all odds.
Yeah.
So I would say the odds were far against her. She was, when her mother got pregnant, her father was a meth addict, selling meth to support his habit. Her mother actually was a pretty good person.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, considering the lifestyle I was living. She got good grades. She was doing well. Other than me, she was, she had her life headed in the right direction until I came along, I think.
Okay.
So she's born, they spent some time when we split up on welfare.
Yeah.
Living in government housing, her mom trying to get by, me, not in the picture as much as I should be because we're not together. We didn't do it, according to, I think, the proper plan.
Yeah.
And she now is, I would say, for being 21, extremely successful. She owns a home. She's married.
Wonderful.
She's graduated college. She has a good job.
That's good. So today, though, you said you had 6 kids altogether now.
6
6 kids. And so how did that come about?
So after our split from my first mother of my child, she was, after we split, A couple years went by, ended up getting with somebody else. We had another child.
Okay.
Out of wedlock again, so not exactly ideal. And we were together for a long time. Ended up having a second one, so I had another girl, another boy.
Okay.
And a little over 10 years later, so well, let's fast forward. So we got together around, I think it would have been about 6 years later. She ended up developing a drug addiction herself.
Okay.
Due to, she had a medical condition, was on prescription pain medicines, and became addicted to those.
Okay.
I was kind of blind to it at first.
Now at this time too, you're not doing any drugs anymore.
Yeah, I'm clean.
Yeah.
My focus now is on, hey, I don't want to be in poverty forever.
Right.
I've lived this life, and I don't want it for me. I don't want it for my kids. So now I've already switched to like, how do we build generational wealth?
Okay.
Right. So
your mind shift is happening. You're changing your mindset. Okay. And so now you're working hard to build something.
I'm working hard to build something, and she is alongside me in this walk. During that time, she develops a drug addiction. Mm-hmm. We end up having to split up for around 6 months, I think. We ended up splitting up. Just drugs change who you are.
Yeah.
She eventually came back around. She got clean. We got back together, and then had another child. Okay. That's my son, who now is 11.
Wow.
So he was born. Fast forward 2 more years. So this would have been, so she's clean now. She's been clean for close to 3 years. At this point, my son just turned 2. Mm-hmm. She had kind of stepped away from the people she had been hanging out with before, which I knew was the right thing. I've been through the drug addiction. I know you can't hang out with those people. Several weeks prior to my son's 2nd birthday, she's telling me, hey, I'm going to go see this person. And I said, I don't like that idea. I don't think you should. I know what they do. I know what they're about. But I'm a partner with her. I'm not her boss. So I added, my guidance to it. She assured me that everything would be okay. And fast forward 2 weeks. It's a week after my son's birthday. And I go to wake her up on a Sunday morning, and she doesn't wake up.
She doesn't wake up.
Nope.
So she overdosed?
She did. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I think that she just kind of slipped right back into it one time.
We all start somewhere, with questions, doubts, and the unknown. But growth begins when you take that first step, when you seek the right guidance. Through insights, self-reflection, and real-world experience, you will build the skills necessary to become someone worth following. It's about overcoming your past and embracing the person you're destined to become. Growth begins with you. Empower your future with TYRO.
So your journey, man, is incredible, and I really appreciate your transparency and sharing it. I know it's not easy talking about it, but I think it's important for others to hear that their struggle is real. With we don't know the story behind the story, right? We might see people, they look at you today and they see a successful businessman, a successful father, a successful husband, but they don't know all the pain and suffering that took place to get you to the level where you're at.
Yeah.
People, I think a lot of times people even judge people when they're driving the nice cars, they're living in the nice homes. Oh, look at them. But they don't realize the struggle it took to get to where you can finally get the deed of a car. You own it. The title is in your hands. No longer the bank owns it, right? You're not making payments, and people don't realize the struggle or the sacrifices it truly takes to get to a place of being healthy physically, being healthy mentally, being stable spiritually and healthy spiritually, and of course the emotional. I hear your story, and I really appreciate you talking about it, because suicide is something that I think is on the rise in our country today. Since COVID, since things happening, depression is on the rise, and people are embarrassed, they're ashamed, and rightly so. Right? Those things have its place in our walk and our journey, but it's not supposed to hold us back. It's supposed to, the Word of God talks about it's supposed to have its perfect work in our life. You only go through shame and guilt and embarrassment for just a season. But if you let it have its perfect work, you'll come out of that to where you can see that I live to tell about it. That now I'm a champion.
Yeah.
I can champion a cause to help others no longer walk this walk because I live to tell about it, and I can help somebody else to come behind me so they don't have to experience the same thing I experienced, because there's a way out.
There is a way out for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And the success thing, I try to remind people if I'm working with somebody, if I'm talking with somebody and I feel like they are maybe starting to try to put me on a pedestal, I would say, remind them that I didn't get here in one day, right? 20 years ago, I borrowed a bicycle from somebody to get to work, and I was sleeping on somebody's couch. And it's, like you said, it's a long process that a lot of people don't see. They don't see that, I had a bag of clothes is what I owned, and now I have more.
Yeah.
And it's through.
Now you have a bank account. Now you have a
bank
steady
account.
check coming in.
I have a home that's mine. I have a car.
And the things that we all work towards, and those are great. But the most thing I see that when I know you, Shawn, and I really appreciate our friendship, and I know it's growing with your new position now. We'll have more time together. But what I see when I see you, I see peace, man. I see joy. I mean, what you're telling the stories, man, that joy is fleeting, man. Joy is a glimpse. Maybe when you were able to go to a grocery store, you talked about government assistance with the food stamp program, got the groceries, we're eating, that was joyful, but then the realization, man, I got to go back and wait for my food stamps again. That takes the joy, that sucks the joy out of a room when you got to go pay. And back in the day when I was on food stamps, we didn't have no plastic card where it looked like a debit card and nobody would know you had food stamps. We had the books, man. We had the paper where we had to rip it out. And the truth is, it's embarrassing. I don't know of anybody who was walking in, and I hope there aren't people out there at that time was prideful and arrogant and I mean, it's one thing, and I'm grateful for the food stamps in my life that I had. I'm grateful looking back, man, praise God, we had some money, the food stamp money to buy groceries, but it was never something that I had an attitude of, look at me, I'm proud of myself, I got food stamps. It wasn't that. No, it's when finally I can cash a check, I can pay my electricity bill, it's not turned off. That's where we're now saying, wow, this is what healthy living looks like when you don't have the repo man calling you, right? Or coming to your door.
Yeah. I'm not panicking thinking, how are we going to pay the bills next month? I'm not calling up everybody I know saying, hey, you got some side work I can do? I mean, working is good, but there can definitely be a tough struggle there where you're working 16 hours a day just to try to scrape by because
it's tough being broke.
Yeah,
it's hard work being broke. I met some guys that have great intelligence, but they got the mindset that being broke is their lifestyle, right? They got great intelligence that can get them ahead in life, but they're so accustomed to being broke that they can't break free.
Yeah.
And so this side hustle, always looking for this. I'm like, hey, why don't you apply for a steady job? And they're hiring down the road. Nope, I can't do that. I don't want to answer to nobody. I said, but you might not get that side gig this weekend. It might not show up. It's okay. Man, I'm going to keep, I like the hustle. I like to feel, dude, you're broke.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, one thing that helped me get out of it is just having a goal. Like I set a goal. I said, man, by the time I'm 50, I want to be a millionaire.
Come on, man.
And then, well, what do I got to do?
To get there.
Okay. All right. So I got to save money. I got to invest money. How much money do I need to save? How much money do I need to invest? And it's, well, how can I make this happen faster? Because I can now see it. I actually have a plan that is realistic. Absolutely, I can punch it into a compound interest calculator and say, if I save this much money and I make a general interest rate, stock market grows 8%, it grows 8% every year on average. If I grow 8% and I put this much money away every month, By the time I'm 50, I'm a millionaire.
Nice. See, and that takes that vision. You got a vision for you and your family. So let me go back a little bit. So now you're married now. So how did you meet your wife, and what's her name, and you guys got kids together? Tell us a story.
Yeah. So my wife, her name is Chelsea. She's amazing. We met about a year, I think, after my kid's mother passed away. So I would say I was not in a perfect state of mind. I had fallen back into old ways when she first passed away. Drinking.
Okay.
I didn't do drugs because I already kind of knew the path, but drinking, and I just leaned on my old vices. That's drinking and females, because they both made me feel good, but only temporarily.
Yeah.
Until, luckily I have a good family structure. My sister, she recommended that I go to church. And I'm thinking, hey, I'm willing to try anything at this point, because there are nights where I'm sitting and all I can think about is just, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be alive. I have kids, so I don't have a choice but to stay alive. But man.
But you didn't see no light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Because every day is painful. It's either I'm covering up the pain because I'm hiding from it.
And you loved her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were together for over 10 years.
Yeah. And your best friend.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Helped me build what the legacy that we both were working towards. So even though, right, neither of us are perfect, nobody here is perfect.
Yeah, that's right. It was.
But
you were living.
We were building something together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I know it's tough, and I really appreciate it. So you meet
Chelsea.
Yeah. And
you know what? We're just friends. I think I was not in a good place to actually be in a real relationship, and she was kind of the same. Right? Both of us. She had recently got divorced, and we didn't live too far from each other.
Yeah.
We found out, hey, we just like hanging out with each other. I enjoyed talking to her. I kind of was getting into the dating world a little bit.
But you met her at church?
No.
Oh.
No, I met her. She was a manager at a gas station down the road from me.
Okay.
And a friend of mine said, hey, this girl's kind of pretty. You should invite her over to play cards with us. So I went to the gas station and I said, hey, my name is Shawn. I think you know my friend. Him and his wife are going to be over playing cards tonight. Here's my phone number. If you want to come over, come over. And she texted me and she came over and we hung out and we just hit it off. So
wonderful.
So yeah, we were friends for a while, started dating, and then I proposed to her. We got married in 2020.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah. So now 5 years that we've been together. We've had one more child.
Okay, so how many you have all together with her?
So it's 6. So I had 3 coming into it. She had 2.
Okay.
And then we have 1 together.
Oh,
I don't know if it's going to be the last one or not. We'll see. She hasn't made up her mind.
So there's been a lot going on in your life, even in the past since, with your new title, your new promotion here at the Ridge Project, and your facilitator. You've taken your life experiences and now you facilitate. Where do you go to teach? Do you teach in adult and youth, or what? How do you?
So I was teaching. I got hired on just for youth, and I felt like that's where God called me. I'll say I like to go back to just, I guess, why I am at the Ridge Project and how I got here. About 9 years ago, around 9 years ago, my sister talks me into going to church. I start going to church, and I'm sitting 3 rows back in church, and I'm hearing them talk about just Jesus being able to lift this weight off of you. And man, I just prayed, and I said, take it. Take it away. And I felt light. Like there's no other way for me to describe it. I felt like I was floating.
Yeah.
This weight that I've been carrying of grief, pain, even some unforgiveness there of like, even though I absolutely love that woman, there was some anger that I had that she left me, right? Left me. We have 2 young kids. So it was like all of that got laid at the feet of Jesus and just lifted off my shoulders. And that just again. So that's like another just time where my life was, I wasn't living a bad life.
Yeah.
But trajectory of my life completely changed. And that was kind of, stop living for myself and started living for Jesus at that point.
And you were also working at a factory at that time?
I was, yep. And I was kind of working my way up. So I started as a general laborer there. This would have been my second factory job. I started as a general laborer. I started working my way up, became an operator, became a supervisor, and then eventually kind of got put in a position of plant supervisor. So now at this point, where I started as an actual temporary employee that was only supposed to be there for 2 weeks, now I'm in charge of 3 shifts and just kind of monitoring, helping with the operation of the factory, which is crazy, but it was really just, I feel like God was trying to prepare me for something else. Man. And that's one thing that really, the first thing that kept me motivated was, hey, I want to be a millionaire. Man. And then once I had that encounter with Jesus, it's like, God's got a plan for me. Yeah. So even, oh man, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like learning this. This growth stuff is hard. I was always just working towards, I know God's got a plan for my life. And anytime something was put in front of me, I'm going to tackle it head on as hard as I can, gain as much knowledge as I can, because I know God has a plan for me and he wouldn't put this here if he didn't want me to use it somewhere else.
Man, this has been an incredible time talking to you. I really appreciate you being transparent. We know there's a great future for you and your family. And here at the Ridge Project, we appreciate all that you're doing here and bringing to the table. You're not bringing scraps. You're bringing quality stuff, and that's what we want to encourage everybody who's listening to this podcast, listening to this talk right now. Is that life is struggle. Life has its downfalls, and we're gonna lose precious gems, precious people in our lives, and we're gonna lose things that we didn't think we're going to lose, right? But there also we have to sacrifice things. And just in closing, I just want to say to you, thank you so much for your honesty and your transparency. I hope who's ever listening is really blessed by this word, knowing that there's life after trauma, there's life after drama, there's life after whatever it is that you might think that's holding you back. There's life after that if you just give it over and let it go.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Shawn. Really
Thanks,
appreciate you being here, man. Our listeners and those who are watching this, we really appreciate everybody being here. You got any comments or anything, please let us know. My name is Ron Tijerina. Always remember, I am celebrating you.